Today on the Bar Business Podcast, learn why pre-shifts fail and how to fix them with a simple 10-minute meeting. Discover the stress response system that prevents walkouts and one-star reviews. And master 2 money priorities to lift checks without slowing service. Hello and welcome to the Bar Business Podcast, where we help bar owners increase profits, attract loyal guests, and simplify operations so you can avoid burnout and finally enjoy your life outside of your bar. I'm your host, Chris Schneider, the Bar Business Coach. So one thing that's very true this week for everybody in the United States, it is Thanksgiving on Thursday. And what does that mean for us? Well, that means Wednesday is one of the busiest bar nights of the year. For a lot of bars, we're talking 200 to 300% the volume they normally see. This weekend also tends to be busier than normal, especially given that November tends to be a slower month. So we all should be expecting that Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, maybe a little bit on Sunday, but definitely Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, we're going to be busier than we normally are. And one of the things that's really important when we're busy is to make sure that we have a framework that we can use to communicate with our team, set expectations, and set our shifts up for success. So we're going to talk through real quick a very simple 10-minute meeting and a way to structure your team huddles, your staff meetings, whatever you want to call them, your pre-shifts, that is particularly great when we're going into a weekend like we are this week, where we're going to have a very busy weekend, but also is something that you can use literally every single pre-shift meeting that you have. So let's talk about pre-shifts a little bit, because one of the things that happens a lot with pre-shifts is they fail to get you the results you are looking for. And there are some very simple reasons why pre-shifts normally fail. The first one being most of them are too freaking long, right? We're talking 20, 30 minutes. A, your servers have better things to do, right? I don't know why you're paying them to be in a meeting necessarily all the time. And B, you're probably giving them so much information that they can't focus on what's important. Plus, if your meetings are that long, you're probably putting in some fluff that they don't actually need to accomplish the task on the shift tonight. Now, you know I love training. You know I love having long conversations with our team, telling them why, going into a lot of explanation on things. And quite frankly, when we're slow, when we have time for training, that's exactly what we should do. That is a wonderful thing to do. But when you're doing something like having a pre-shift meeting this Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving, you better be quick about it. You better be efficient and you better use your time wisely, because you need that time to be able to focus on providing your guests the experience that they're looking for when you get slammed. One of the other things that I see a lot, it's a problem with pre-shift meetings a lot of times. We're informational, but we're not operational. We're saying, hey, here's this about this product, here's this about that, but we're not actually covering what we need people to do to make our operation run smoothly. So what we're going to do today is give you the framework to have that great meeting that will get you operational results that you're looking for. So we talked a little bit about what doesn't work. So what does work? Well, let's focus on 10 minutes maximum for our meeting. Let's focus on 3 areas, right? 3 things are easy to remember. More than that, it gets a little difficult. We want to present people with specific numbers and standards. It turns out when you tell your employees exactly what you expect out of them, more times than not, they're going to do that thing that you expect out of them. If you don't tell them, though, they ain't going to do it. And also, we want to make sure that these meetings that we're going to have, especially going into this weekend on Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, when we know we're going to be busier than normal, are action-based. We're not talking about training. We're talking about things that we are going to do tonight and how to pull them off properly. So here's the framework for the meeting. It's 10 minutes. Minutes 0 through 3. So the first 3 minutes of the meeting, we're going to talk about service flow priorities. These are must-do type things. And generally, in that sense, we want to set 3 priorities, right? You're going to notice there's a lot of 3s here. Actually, I think we have 3 sets of 3s, but I'm not entirely remembering it. So we will see if that's true or not. But we're looking at everything kind of in these groups of 3s, easy memory recall. So we want to set 3 priorities. First thing we want to do is set our goals, right? And what that can look like is simply saying, tonight's target is a 60-minute table turn. Simple, it's easy, but it really tells people this is the kind of speed that we're expecting out of you. And then when you say, okay, tonight's target is a 60-minute table turn, here's how we're going to get there. We want drinks out in 3 minutes, we want food orders out in 8 minutes, and we want checks within 5 minutes of when they request it. So we've given them the high level goal, 60-minute table turn, and then we've given them some sub goals to allow our team to get there, to allow them to better manage their time by putting out standards at the beginning of the shift. The second thing we're going to do when it comes to service flow priorities is we're going to give them, especially for Wednesday night, a one-touch rule. And the one-touch rule is essentially this. And this is not something I would recommend on a slow night. But again, Wednesday is one of the busiest nights, if not the busiest night of the year for almost every bar out there in the US. One-touch rule means you do not touch a table unless you are accomplishing something, taking an order, delivering food, closing out a check, right? We want to avoid empty check-ins. And why? Because it's huge volume. We have to be efficient. We have to turn those tables to serve more guests. So I would even tell my team, if I was going to do this pre-shift meeting and I still had a bar, I'd say, look, guys, normally I want you to check in and talk to people tonight. Don't talk to people. Don't check in. Do things. Hit the table. Do things. If they don't need anything because you anticipated a need too early, that's fine. But then just say, okay, I'll check on you guys in a little bit. Go on the next table. Like, we've got to be efficient when we're doing super high volume like most people are this week. Then the third piece of just kind of setting priorities and standards here is letting your team know, hey, these are the items I anticipate we are going to 86 tonight. This is what we will run out of. And then give them substitutes. Hey, we're a little low on Tito's, so I think we might run out of Tito's today. But if we run out of Tito's, push them to Smirnoff or Stoli. Boom, done. Or we only have limited chicken wings. If we run out of chicken wings, we can go to chicken tenders, right? Just something simple. But now you're giving them the answer so they don't have to think on their feet while they're slammed, because that's really hard. They already have the pre-canned answer. Just boom. Here's what I know is going to be 86. Here's what I know I'm going to recommend as a substitution. You've given that to them in the pre-shift meeting. Now, minutes 3 through 6, we're going to stress response systems, right? So we're already anticipating that things will break because you're not going to do 300% of volume and things aren't going to break. So let's understand that they will break, focus on the fact that they're going to break, and give people a way around it. So I would focus this in 3 areas. Wait times get behind, kitchen bar gets behind, or service is not what people expect. You have a difficult customer escalation. And then again, we need to give our team the ability to deal with all of those 3 issues. So if wait times exceed 15 minutes or whatever number you pick, you could have a pre-selected offer of a round of house drinks or a round of beers or a specific app that you're just going to give people, right? A comp thing. And a lot of times, if you do this smart, you can spend $2, $3, $4 of cost, and the customer's going to perceive that as $10, $15 worth of value. And in turn, you're going to prevent one-star reviews and walkouts. And it can even be something stupid you make up in your kitchen that's just like a little, almost like an amuse-bouche, just a couple little bites, just something to give them to kind of make up for the fact that they're waiting forever. Now, when your bar or kitchen gets behind, you need to have immediate proactive communication. It's the only way you prevent people from complaining is to be honest and open with them. Hey guys, I'm so sorry. We just got really busy out of nowhere. Your item should be out in about 10 minutes. Can I get you anything else while you wait? Or is there anything I can do for you while you wait, right? Have that communication up front. Set those expectations. Again, we're avoiding complaints when we're super busy. And the third piece of this would be the difficult customer escalations. So we need to have a way for managers to get easily flagged by your team. That can look like a lot of different things. But we need to know that, right? We need to know, how am I going to flag a manager tonight? How do I make sure that if I have a guest that has an issue, we can get a manager there super quick? Or if you're the owner and you're working, how do you get there super quick? We also need, because we're going to have tensions high among our staff, so we have customer escalations, we're also going to have internal team conflicts. So we need all the managers and you yourself as the owner, if you're working, to really have in the back of your head, hey, let's step over here and talk about this real quick. Right? So we can pull people out of the busyness real quick, just step to the side, have that conversation we need to have and get them back on the floor as soon as possible. Third piece of the meeting, so like minutes 6 to 9. These are money priorities. And the money priorities are important because this is how we're going to ensure we're getting the good revenue. Give your folks, here's what we want to upsell tonight. Here's the premium cocktails we want to push. Here's this seasonal we want to push. Here's a shareable appetizer we want to push. Whatever that is, give it to them. Give them a competition, particularly for Wednesday. And the competition I would go here is highest average check. Right? Or you can even do highest average check combined with table turn somehow. There's different ways you could get there in the math. But give them a competition that's going to keep them on their toes, keep them pushing product, make you more money. And then we want to give them a piece where their tips are going to be maximized. And we're going to do that by giving them 3 well-timed touch points, right? When the drink is first delivered, they should be delivering it. When the food arrives, they should be delivering it. If they're not, they should be touching the table at that point. And then when glasses get low, we should automatically be going to that table, when there's a third left in that drink, seeing if they want another round. If not, bringing them the check because we want to turn that table over and we want to do it quickly. So the good part about that is those 3 points, it's going to make them more efficient. They're going to be running that food anyway. We're still kind of following that one touch rule. But at the same time, when servers are this on top of their timing, it's going to raise their tips. They're going to make more money too. Now, at the last minute of this meeting, we want to have a pact. We want to get everyone to understand and agree. If you're overwhelmed, let me know. If you're overwhelmed, let me know. If you're overwhelmed, let me know. Please help each other. But if you're overwhelmed, as the manager, as the owners, let us know so we can come in and help you. Nights like this are only going to work, right? These super busy nights, and they happen a few times throughout the year, but they only work when, as an owner, as managers, you are on the floor working side by side with your staff, helping them hustle. So follow that standard for this week. I promise you, it's a simple, easy way to get your team all in line, maximize your profit, maximize your customer service, take care of your staff at the same time, set the right expectations, and to have a great shift, even if you're doing 200, 300, 400% your normal volume. That about wraps it up for today. If you enjoyed today's insights, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a review. If you are ready to take your bar to the next level, schedule a strategy session with me by clicking the link in the show notes below. Until next time, have a great day, and we will talk again later.